Hi, this is Mike Agron, Executive Webinar Producer with WebAttract, and I'm joined here by our other producers. I have Patty Van Hooser, who's our Logistics Producer, and Lori Dearman, who's our Content Producer. What we want to talk about is beyond the business value of webinars. We know that a webinar is a fabulous way to help an organization attract a new audience, to generate fresh new sales leads, promote their brand and thought leadership. But behind a webinar, it's really a mini event. And a mini event that's theatrical in nature. And anything that's theatrical helps to breathe life and excitement into telling a story. We want to tell you about what we love about webinars and why they're so effective. And when I think about it, probably one of the most important attributes of a webinar is that everybody we deal with has a story to tell. Everybody is different. And our job is to be able to find something of value in the story they have to tell, whether it's about how thin wall plastics get you to market faster, how using a integrated methodology gets your design for doing prototyping faster. It's endless. What are some of the things, Lori and Patty, that you love about webinars?
I think it's the topics that we learn about that fascinate me. Where else would I have the opportunity to learn about 3D printers and bring your own device software, that's cutting edge. And these are things that really actually help me to stay current, and I enjoy it. It's very intellectually stimulating.
And Patty, how about you? We've been doing this for a while. What are some of the things you love?
I guess I like the variety of it, and sort of to ditto what Lori has said. We meet a lot of interesting people. I learn a lot of new things that I would have no idea about. And I like it that we're producing a mini event, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I like that about events, and I like that about webinars. And I love working with you two.
Well, thank you. We love working with you as well. Okay, so let's take a look at it. We're going to, we talk about a mini event, telling a story. Stories are great. From the time we were young, we'd sit around the campfire and we would listen to stories being told. That's what I love about the webinar, is that it allows us to tell a great story. What are some of the great stories that you've had the opportunity to participate in and tell on a webinar? Can you think of a few?
Well, the one I was alluding to just a moment ago about the 3D printers. So for me, it was really fascinating to understand how this particular manufacturer, was Trek bicycles, which is a brand that I respect and know, how they use a 3D printer to do what's called rapid prototyping. So instead of sending their parts out to be prototyped outside, they would do it all in-house, and they could actually print parts of the bicycle, maybe the water or whatever it was, to make it more aerodynamic. And speaking with the gentleman who pioneered the idea within Trek, and listening to his story and understanding, how he implemented the use of a 3D printer in his world, was, for me, fascinating, and I enjoyed that. And there are countless number of stories where it just opened my eyes, like, wow. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea I was going to learn about this particular topic. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that it existed. So it's very eye-opening.
Well, speaking of eye-opening, Patty, when you work on the logistics side, I know you have a passion for working with people. What are some of the things you enjoy most about the webinar process and working with our clients?
It's my passion, and it has been probably my whole career, because before this I worked on live events, and it's working with people one-on-one or with groups, and meeting their needs as well as meeting the needs of the whole webinar life cycle.
Yeah, I think it's always a sense of satisfaction across that. As we've said, and we recognize that this is what we do every day. We eat, sleep, breathe webinars. Well, at least I do. And I think it's safe to say that our clients and speakers have a day job. As important as the webinar is to them, and as much as they want it to come off, they have a lot of distractions. And there's a certain enjoyment from the beginning of the process till we deliver it to see how they get excited about what's going on, because they're going to be the beneficiaries of being able to attract a whole new audience that didn't have to get on an airplane or get in a car or live in multiple geographies, and they're going to hear something new. And when we see that there's that connection, and we look and we see that we started with an audience of 300 or 400, and 45, 50 minutes into the webinar, we still have 80% of them online, we know that the audience is connecting with the speakers and that there's going to be some positive business value after it. What else do you see as something that gets you excited in when we produce a webinar? What are some of the things that maybe people wouldn't think about because they don't do this every day?
Well, one thing, kind of dovetailing with what you just said, a webinar allows us to gather speakers and subject matter experts around the globe. I mean, we've had webinars where we've had, an engineer in Germany and, someone else in the US and somebody else, in Asia, all on the same webinar. And where would you be able to have that? Come together and share their expertise and be available to an audience and have it recorded so that folks can view it again across geographies and across time zones. So it just allows much more access to information.
Because we collect information throughout the whole entire webinar process. We collect information at the beginning of the webinar process, we collect it during the process through the information and feedback that we get through the invitation process, and then we collect information during the webinar. We have polls and during the webinar, and then we also do a survey after the webinar. So you're constantly collecting information and putting together analytics that are valuable for future prospecting and sales.
Well, yeah, because what they do is they create an opportunity for the client to follow up with the people that attended or registered. And based upon how they answered questions during polls, what questions they asked on air, how they filled out the registration, they can have a warm conversation. And in sales and in business, nothing starts to have a conversation. It's so much more powerful to have salespeople contact someone where they have the ability to show they have an interest rather than just asking a lot of questions. I find that particularly exciting. I think another part is one of our clients said to us that a webinar is the gift that keeps giving. What she meant by that was, the gift that keeps giving is that the recorded webinar helps extend the shelf life. So the client has an ability to leverage their investments by sharing this webinar with people that either registered and weren't able to attend, or people that attended and wanted to review it, or it can go viral. And people who neither registered or attended will hear about it by posting it on a website and will come to view it. And what that translates to is more promotion of that company's brand, their thought leadership, and the ability to attract fresh new sales leads. I think these are just some of the things, and it's really a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of different marketing strategies to engage an audience. Webinars, in our view and our experience, is probably one of the most effective forms of content marketing. Again, because it tells a story, it breathes life into something that otherwise could just be static, like a white paper or a case study or a research report. I think we've covered some of the things, but it's safe to say we love webinars. We hope you do too, and hope you take an opportunity to come inside our website, check us out, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you produce your next webinar and get you the business value you're looking for. Thank you.
Make sure you visit our Learning Center at WebAttract.com to learn more, as well as to watch other best practice videos, view some case studies, and watch our library of on-demand webinars.